Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Horror Corner, and welcome to this updated horror movie ranking video. As part of my current series, part of my Halloween trifecta of horror series. It's the third and final leg of this series for October here, as we are almost to the day of Halloween here. So happy Halloween to everybody out there. So yeah, I did my entire updated horror collection. I did my most recent horror convention that I attended, and this is the third and final leg, is to give you my updated ranking of all the Halloween movies. So I went throughout the month, starting October 1st, I went through and watched all 13 existing Halloween movies. The original from 1978 all the way up to Halloween Ends from last year, and just some general thoughts about the entire series before I get into it. This series really is all over the place. I will say that of the 13 movies, 11 of them I can find positives. Only the bottom two, I really can't find any positives. And there's about five movies that you could throw in a bag, in my opinion, and mix them up and pull one out. And I don't think there's a huge difference. It's kind of in the middle that I'll get to. But the franchise is all over the place. You have sequels, you have remakes, you have reboots, you have um, all kinds of extra stuff like cults and white horses and sibling angles and flashbacks and yeah, it kind of runs the gamut, that's for sure, with all 13 movies. It was interesting to watch all 13 in a row throughout 4 weeks. And so, all that being said, let's just go ahead and get into it because this is going to be a long video and I'm going to try not to talk too much about. I'll say a little something about each movie, but I'm going to try not to talk too much about each one. So, before I get started, I have to do this as other people do. This isn't the right list. This is just my list. I might have movies in the top five that you think are garbage. I might have movies in the bottom three that you think are fantastic. That's great. I hope everybody can find one of my least favorites to be one of their favorites or enjoyable, and that they can find, maybe one of my favorites for whatever reason is their least favorite. Comment down below why or why not. But let's just keep in mind, this is just, don't take offense to it. This is just my ranking based on my most recent watch of all these movies. There are some changes from the 2021 updated ranking that I did. I'll say that some movies went higher, some movies dropped a little bit. But I'll give you my thoughts as we go on. But yeah, that's the disclaimer. Don't beat me up too bad. This is just my list. No, but I would be curious down in the comments if you want to comment what your list is as of 2023 here. So let's just go ahead and get this party started. So coming in last place at number 13, probably not going to be a huge surprise to many people, but it still is, and this didn't change. Halloween Resurrection from 2002. This is one of those two movies I was talking about that I can't really find anything positive to say. I mean, I hate what they do at the beginning, how they unceremoniously kill and mess up the superior movie, the one that was prior to this one, with the bullshit in this movie. They mess up that ending of that movie. I don't like any of the characters in this movie. As I said, they unceremoniously kill Laurie Strode. I don't really care for the portrayal of Myers or the mask. I don't care for Buster Rhymes, drop kicking Michael Myers. I don't care for the main girl. I don't care for the. I don't like anything in this movie. That's why it's at the bottom of the list. Halloween Resurrection, dog shit. Okay, now moving on to the other movie that I really don't have anything good to say about. This also didn't change from 2021, and that is Halloween 5 from 1989, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Much like Resurrection, this movie takes a different path that ends up screwing up the fantastic ending of the previous movie and, quite frankly, the superior movie. Every direction they take in this movie is the wrong direction. And besides all that, this movie's boring as hell. Of all the movies that I've watched, this one I might have been the biggest slog to get through, just because nothing happens for most of this movie. You got clown music going on when these cops show up. They kill Rachel off in the first 15 minutes. Jamie's a mute for 80% of the film. Donald Pleasance, even Dr. Loomis, it's my least favorite portrayal of his character in any of the movies. He's really over the top and creepy in this movie. Yeah, there's nothing good about it. And then we're introduced to the Man in Black, and of course we know where that goes. So that's not necessarily great in this movie. I guess watching this movie, if you haven't seen the one after it, it offers a little mystery for a minute. But this movie's also dog shit. The only reason that I have it higher than Resurrection is because it does kind of fit into the trilogy that it had going in the middle of this series, and yes, I still think that Danielle Harris gives a really good performance, even though I don't like what they did to her character. Um, there's a few moments, but for the most part, it's not. There's nothing positive to say about this movie. It's a bore fest. That's Halloween 5, number 12. Now getting into number 11. This movie might have dropped a little bit for me, probably with the David Gordon Green trilogy as well. Probably bumped it up or down a few spots, depending on how you look at it. But that is Halloween 6, or Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers. Now, I'm only talking about the theatrical cut. I haven't seen the producer's cut, although I've read enough about it and I've talked to enough people that have seen it. It's really not that much of an improvement over the film. It's just a different cut of it, and it has the whole Michael Myers incest angle, which is, come on, man, no, no. By the way, I should show you. I am wearing, commemorating Halloween. I am wearing my Just Do It shirt with Michael Myers and the machete that he's got there. So I just wanted to show that off. But yeah, Halloween 6. Now this one I can find some good things about. I do think the portrayal of Michael Myers is one of the better ones. I like the mask better than the previous movies or the ones that follow. Um, this movie's got really good Halloween atmosphere. It's one of the better. It's one of the better atmospheric Halloween movies in this franchise. So I can say that about it. But all the cult shit that's involved here, the reveal of the Man in Black, and really most of the characters I don't care for. I don't mind the main girl, Kara. I think it is Kara Strode. She's okay. Um, but other than that, yeah, it's just you don't get enough Donald Pleasance in this movie. I know he was, he passed away shortly after this was made, so he wasn't doing well at the time. But yeah, I don't know. It's not the worst Halloween movie, clearly, but I can't say that I can have it any higher than this either because of all the Thorn cult stuff. So that's going to be my number 11, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Now we might get a little controversial here. So this movie might have actually dropped a little bit from the last time, but I still like it, and I especially like it because this time I watched the theatrical cut of it, and that is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 from 2009. Now, I didn't watch this version. I'm just showing it because it's a singular version. I watched it off here. These are the two theatrical cuts of the Rob Zombie movies. The first time I watched these movies, I watched the unrated cuts, the director's cuts, and those were hard to get through. The theatrical versions are definitely better for both of these movies, but specifically we're talking about Halloween 2 now. I will say that I did notice and was more annoyed by all the white horse bullshit more in this time watching it than the first time. I do enjoy the fact I do like this cut better that Michael Myers doesn't talk and say die. Oh, I hate that they do that. It makes absolutely no sense. He still does grunt in this movie, which I'm not all that excited about. But I have to say, I do like some of the directions that Rob Zombie took in this movie. It's not, he didn't just rehash the original Halloween 2. It looked like he was going to at the beginning of this movie, but then they go in a completely different direction. I think Scout Taylor Compton's pretty good in this movie. Danielle Harris is good in this movie, as is uh, Brad Dourif is really good in this movie. The ending's a little weird, and I kind of see the direction that they were going, but yeah, I'm not a hater, especially of the theatrical cut. So coming in at number 10 is going to be Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. That's just kind of the way it is. So I know a lot of people don't like it. Coming in at number 9 is going to be one of the more recent movies, and that is Halloween Kills from 2021. Um, Flip cover here. This is the extended cut. What includes alternative endings. I watched the theatrical version though. Um, yeah, this movie didn't. It wasn't quite as good as when I saw it in the theater. This is only the second time I watched it. Of the last three movies, the David Gordon Green trilogy, this one's the biggest mess in terms of the storyline, the direction they were trying to go, and it didn't exactly get helped by the movie that came after it either, when they kind of went in a different direction. But God, the dialogue's so bad in this movie. Some of the acting's so bad in this movie. I like Anthony Michael Hall, but he shouldn't have been in this movie. He's not good in this movie. And then, of course, the famous line, "Evil dies tonight," which I swear, if you watch this movie and you take a shot every time that somebody says it in the movie, you'd be dead before the end of the movie. Mike Myers is great. That's the best thing about this movie. James Jude Courtney's performance. It might be his best performance of the trilogy as Myers. Myers is brutal in this movie. He kills a lot of people. There's some nice callbacks, some nice things that happen, but ultimately it's just such a mumble jumbled mess with bad dialogue, bad characters. The whole mob mentality. I kind of understood where they were coming from, like the whole town trying to rise up, but they go too far with it. They don't execute it well. So yeah, that's why Halloween Kills is going to be number 9 for me. I know there's people that love that movie a lot more than the number 9 spot, but that's just where I have it. And then we're going to get back to the Rob Zombie movies with number 8. We're going to look at the original, or Rob Zombie's Halloween from 2007, the first one, which again, I watched the theatrical cut here. And I have to say, I think the theatrical cut helps the original even more than it did Halloween 2, because it cuts out a whole scene where Michael Myers breaks out of the asylum, which is just completely. It's a scene in the director's cut or the uncut version that's completely unnecessary. It's gross. It doesn't belong in a Halloween movie. I'm talking about the whole rape scene. That made this movie better just on the surface. That being said, the first third of this movie is still way too much white trash, bad dialogue, bad writing. It's really tough. It's again the biggest problem, like most people said, it takes away the mystery of Michael Myers because now we know why he turns into a mindless killer. Because he tortures animals. He comes from a white trash family that treat each other like shit and swear at each other all the time. It's just we don't need that kind of backstory. But that being said, I really do like and enjoyed the third act of this movie a lot more. I think once I actually really enjoy the movie once it gets to Halloween night. Um, and we get past all the backstory bullshit. That's where this movie's at its best, and I think Rob Zombie does a really good job there. So yeah, Rob Zombie's Halloween from 2007 is going to be my number 8. Oh, wait a minute, yeah, number 8. Sorry, I was looking at the unrated edition. So yeah, 8 move. That's going to be number 8. Now we get into the top 7. Um, this might be a surprise to some people, but this is a movie that, as I've gotten older and I've watched it more and more, it's fallen a little bit for me. I know it has its fans, and it certainly has good parts to it, but that's going to be Halloween H2O from 1998, the Scream version of Halloween. I used to love this movie a lot more than I did. I will say that it's not boring. This movie it's very well paced, one of the best well paced Halloween movies in the entire franchise, where I think it's a tidy 90 minutes or 86 minutes actually. So it really moves along well, and that definitely helps it. I don't care for Myers in this movie, or his mask is the worst. I'm sorry. I hate all the masks they use, the CGI one. I hate that you can see his face. Like they cut the eyes way too big. It just looks like a regular white guy's face. I don't like any of that. Jamie Lee Curtis is great. I don't mind the side characters in this movie. That's one positive thing I could say about it. And the ending of the movie is great. I think it might be the greatest closure movie with Laurie Strode and Michael Myers of the entire franchise. I have to think about that. I don't think it's controversial, but right now I have to say I do like that ending a lot. But there's some other things in the movie. I don't like some of the musical choices they make. As I said, I don't care for Myers. Um, it's just and it doesn't have a hard edge to it. It's a very Dawson's Creek Scream 1996 kind of Halloween movie, and as I've gotten older, that works less and less for me. So H2O right in the middle. I still like it, but not as much as I used to. So that's going to come in at number 7. All right, coming in at number 6 might also be a surprise that I don't have it higher than this, but that's going to be Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers from 1988. Now, there's a lot about this movie that I really like. The opening sequence when they show the different like fall harvest scenes and stuff. Um, I don't mind Myers' portrayal. I hate his masks and the pads that he's wearing. I don't like the look of him at all. But I think George P. Wilbur does a decent job in this movie. I think he does better in 6. as I said before. But obviously, Donald Pleasant's coming back. He's great in this movie. Introducing Danielle Harris and her sister Rachel, played by, why can't I think of her name? The actress's name. That's gonna bug. But anyway, her sister Rachel in the movie. Oh, Ellie Cornell. There we go. They're great characters. Makes it for a compelling movie. Again, the mask is horrible in this movie. The sort of mob mentality with these old beer gutted guys and end up shooting somebody and not even caring. Um, they all shoot him down this well. This movie does have a great ending after that. After it looks like Myers has finally met his demise, it does have maybe the greatest ending of this entire franchise, which of course they mess up in the next movie, as I said before in Halloween 5. But for this movie, the ending really is phenomenal. So this movie has a lot of good, but I have a lot of problems with how Michael comes back. The fact they don't just execute him and they're trying to transfer him, and of course he comes. There's just a lot of coincidences, a lot of things you just have to go with, and that's fine. But I do think some people blow their load a little too much over this movie. A lot of it probably has to do with nostalgia, but I do like Halloween for the return of Michael Myers. It is the best of the Thorn trilogy for what that's worth. So yeah, that's going to be my number six, right? Yeah, my sixth favorite Halloween movie, Halloween 4. Um, the return of Michael Myers. Okay, top five, guys. And here we go. Here come the hate comments. Number five is going to be Halloween 2018, directed by David Gordon Green. Um, I thought they did a really good job after 40 years and having us ignore all those other films, having this be like the first sequel since the original. I thought they did about as good a job in the first third of the movie as they could with bringing Myers back. I love the opening sequence, as I do with all the David Gordon Green, with the pumpkin on the side and how it either expands or blows up or fire's coming out of it. I think they do a good job with all the openings. I love James Jude Courtney as Michael Myers, the Shape. I think he's the best in the entire franchise. You know, with Nick Castle being a close one B, if you will. But I love James Jude Courtney. I love the mask in this entire trilogy, and it starts here with this movie. This movie does kind of lose it towards the third act and the ending of the movie. I don't think it has the strongest ending. I was kind of disappointed with the ending of this movie. There is a great battle between Laurie and Michael, which was fun. And there's a trap and a twist that's set up fairly well, but the characters, other than Jamie Lee Curtis is great. I think Andy Matichak is good. Judy Greer is okay. Of the three main stars, I don't care for any of Allison's friends. I mean, they're just all. And that's another thing. This movie cuts away too much to this fucking Halloween party that's going on that I don't give a shit about. You know, they should focus more on Laurie. And I also have to say, I don't know. I think I like Laurie Strode where we find her in Halloween H2O a little bit more than this one, where she's a little bit more she's a little bit more bunkered down in this one and basically been shooting guns for 40 years and preparing. I, I don't know. I think in H2O it's a little bit more realistic. Obviously you're going to suffer with trauma with what happened to her, but I almost think they go a little overboard here. But that being said, this is a fantastic sequel. Certainly one of the best in the franchise in my opinion. Halloween 2018, my number 5. Okay, this is the one where I'm really going to get the hate because I know there's people that hate this movie, but I can't help it. On my most recent watch, it had to go here, and that is Halloween Ends, the last one from 2022. I got the collector's edition here again with the slipcover. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm not going to go against my gut, though. This is the best story of the David Gordon Green trilogy. And yes, I know. If you're married to Michael Myers and it's got to be Michael Myers killing people for 90 minutes of the film, then you're not going to like this movie. But you're going to see why that's not the case with me because there's a movie I haven't given away that has even less Michael Myers screen time in it that's still coming up yet. So Halloween Ends, I really enjoyed on my most recent watch. I remember liking it at the theater, although I think, like a lot of people, I was kind of like, that's the last one. I'll fully admit this doesn't, the whole David Gordon Green trilogy just doesn't work because after the second one, Halloween Kills, and how they set up the ending of that movie for the next one, it's completely, the cord got completely severed there with COVID and they decided to go in a different direction. So I know it doesn't work with the first two movies. That being said, I like the Corey Cunningham story. I think it's very compelling. I think it's a very different take on the whole Halloween horror movie franchise. Kind of much more like Halloween 3, where it's almost a bit of a more, it's almost a bit more of an anthology kind of idea, but it still has Michael Myers in it. But he's kind of in the shadows, kind of in the background, and a lot of people don't like that. But I thought it was interesting. I mean, how many Halloween movies can you have where Michael Myers just wakes up from whatever coma he's been in for the last year or 40 years and just starts killing everybody and they try to stop him and they can't. I mean, we've seen that movie like 11 times over already, 10 times over. So I like the direction they took. I think Jamie Lee Curtis and Andy Matichak are fantastic in this movie. I think for both of them, it's their best performance in the David Gordon Green trilogy. I like the ending. I like the finality and the closure that they have. The whole town being involved, but especially with Laurie standing over Michael, with how they dispose of him. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate, but I like Halloween Ends. It's my fourth favorite movie in the Halloween franchise. Okay, coming in the top three now. Number three is going to be. Oh, wait a minute. That's not right. Sorry, I'm in the wrong order here. Number three is going to be the original Halloween 2 from 1981. I really love this movie. I love the fact that it takes place on the same night as the original Halloween and just the effortless transition. It's clear that this movie, the change here, they kind of keep the same atmosphere from the original movie, which I also really like. Obviously, you still get Donald Pleasance, Jamie Lee Curtis, more in a hospital this time. So you don't quite have the Halloween outdoor vibes of Halloween night, but I don't mind the setting. But they obviously ratcheted up the kills because this was after Friday the 13th. So in essence, Halloween 2 is its Friday the 13th Halloween take, if you will. But that being said, I really like this movie. I love Donald Pleasance in it. I like the ending. Not overly crazy about the sister angle, but I understand they had to do something different. Otherwise, it really would have been a rehash of the first movie. But yeah, the original Halloween 2 from 1981, fantastic, fantastic sequel. One of the best slasher movies from the 80s. Okay, coming in number two, and this I'll probably get some hate for this too, because this movie doesn't have Michael Myers at all in it, other than on a TV screen a couple times. But my number two, and again, I watched this most recently, and I love this movie. You know, as much a Halloween movie, but a horror movie, and I think this makes for almost even a better Halloween movie. If you're just looking for a movie having to do with Halloween and the season, this is it, man. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. I absolutely love the idea of this movie. I love the atmosphere, the tone. I love, you know, I love what's his name here? Tom Atkins, Stacy Netkin, Dan O'Hurley. Hurley. They're all really good in this movie. It's got more of a sci-fi horror feel to it, but it just works. Combined with the Halloween season and the taking most of it taking place on Halloween, I just love this movie. Yes, I know Michael Myers isn't in it, but again, I'm not married to the Halloween franchise to solely just be Michael Myers slaughtering people for 90 minutes. So I know a lot of people are, and that's great. But for me, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is my second favorite Halloween movie in the franchise. Sue me. But of course, not surprisingly, coming in at number one is going to be the OG, the original, John Carpenter's 1978 Halloween movie. The greatest horror movie made on a shoestring budget, as far as I'm concerned. Everything about this movie, from Michael Myers' portrayal by Nick Castle to the mask, the Shatner mask, to Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Pleasance, just the way they shot the movie, the angles, the tension, the POV shots, the kills, the ending is. I mean, they could have stopped. They could have. This could have been the only movie in the franchise, and that ending's damn near perfect. It might be the most perfect ending ever. And the best thing about the original movies, they don't explain anything. They don't add all this cult shit, this sister angle, this white horse bullshit, even this connection between family members. It's just a guy in a white mask, the definition of evil, the personification of evil, going out to this town for no reason whatsoever and stalking and killing people. That's a fantastic horror movie. And that's why none of the other movies really can touch this one in terms of this franchise. So, John Carpenter's Halloween from 1978, the best movie in the Halloween franchise, bar none. Okay, guys, that's it. Go ahead and leave your hate comments. Hopefully, not too many. But go ahead and leave your comments as far as what your ranking is, reasons for it if you'd like. Please like this video, hit the little notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And please be sure to subscribe to my channel as well so you don't miss any of my great horror content, not only the rest of this year, which I'll have a video coming out in a day or two about what we got coming up for November, December, but also going into next year, which I've got a lot of ideas there too. So I hope everybody's doing well. Happy Halloween. And of course, stay scared. Bye.